May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be always acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
One of my favorite stories concerns the writer Thomas Carlyle. Thomas Carlyle lived about a century ago. He was one of the first people in London to build a soundproof chamber. He installed that in his London home to shut out all the noise so that he could write in uninterrupted silence. The soundproofing worked, except for one piercing sound that seemed to be just the right frequency to penetrate those vaulted walls. The sound belonged to a rooster. The rooster belonged to Carlyle's neighbor. The rooster would do what roosters do. He would crow. And this particular rooster would crow several times at night and then once at dawn. Thomas Carlyle would sit in his soundproof room, pen in hand, trying to write, and he would find himself totally distracted. He found he was just waiting for that cock's cacophony. Finally, he protested to the owner of the rooster. The owner reminded him that the bird only crowed 3 times at night and then once in the morning. Carlyle says, I know, but if you only knew all the worry that I suffer waiting for that cock to crow. How very much like our lives today. No matter how we try to insulate ourselves from troubles of the world around us, we know it's still out there, don't we? And it's not going away. What's worse, like Thomas Carlyle did, we sit and we wait and we worry, totally distracted about what is yet to come. We wait, we worry. And like Carlyle found out, there's no wall thick enough, no room remote enough, no place far enough away to hide from the invasion of the distracting difficulty called worry. Try as we want to, we don't stop because we can't stop. We are conditioned to worry. I've had people tell me that when they don't have anything to worry about, they worry about that. Worry is private enemy number 1. It's thinking turned toxic. It is using our God-given imagination to picture the worst. I've mentioned this before, but it bears repeating. The very word worry comes from the Old English root word meaning to choke or to strangle. Isn't that exactly what worry does to us? Worry does choke. It strangles us. It strangles our creative capacity to think and to hope and to dream. And worry changes nothing. Worry can't undo the past and won't change the future. All worry does is twist the joy right out of life. It does absolutely no good to admonish one another with the often repeated advice, but just stop worrying. We can't simply just stop worrying. Worry takes charge of our minds, and before we know it, it dominates our thought patterns uncontrollably and inadvertently. Worry is a compulsive response to life. Yes, my friend, worry is ingrained in the brain. There is a reason that we choose to worry. The reason is we don't trust God. That's a fact, folks. We worry because we don't trust God. Of course, we say we trust God. I mean, every coin and every bill manufactured in the United States has the phrase, "In God we trust," right on it. We say we trust God. We don't. We worry. If we trust anything, it's money. We say we trust God, but when money is tight and the bills are due, we don't trust God. We worry. We worry about how we're going to get more, or at least get some. The problem is not that we don't believe in God. No, we believe in God. The problem is that we believe more in what we can see and touch. And so we choose to take matters into our own hands. We worry, even though we full well know that worry changes nothing. But at least we're doing something, aren't we? The problem we face every day, today, is we don't trust God. I'm here today to say you can trust God. You can. Return with me, if you will, to the impelling words of the gospel lesson for this 4th Sunday of Easter, St. John chapter 10, verses 11 and 12. Jesus says, verse 11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd who owns the sheep, so when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. There's quite a contrast here. A hired hand will help a shepherd, but when danger lurks or a ravaging animal attacks, the hired hand runs for safety, leaving the shepherd on his own to fend and leaving the sheep to fend for themselves. A good shepherd, on the other hand, counts no cost too high to protect his sheep. At no time will a good shepherd leave his flock. At no time, regardless of what happens. The good shepherd will even lay down his life to protect his sheep if he has to. The hired hand turns tail and runs at the hint of danger. The good shepherd is there, immovable, standing like a guardian shield between the sheep and that ravaging wolf. Did you catch the impact of that contrast between the hired hand and the good shepherd? Guess who wants to guard you? Guess who wants to shield you and promises with his life that he will never leave you? Guess who's here right now and will be here tomorrow and here 1,000 days from tomorrow as well? You can trust him. You can trust Jesus Christ. No matter how great the situation, no matter how unsolvable the situation, Jesus Christ is the good shepherd. Picture in your mind, if you will, the Lord standing between you and whatever it is that you're worrying about. Whatever causes you worry, whether it's physical danger, people problems, financial woes, the powers of evil, whatever. When the going gets tough, Jesus Christ will be your shield. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Imagine each of your worries, each of them as separate wolves lurking about, circling around, waiting to attack and devour you. You can hear their snarl. You're no match for them. But are they too much for the good shepherd to handle? I didn't think so. Remember the word Emmanuel? It means God with us. Jesus is God with us. He has the power that you don't. Power for life. Power for peace of mind. Does a worry-less life sound like something that you might like a bit better than what you're doing right now? Want freedom from worry? It comes down to your willingness to let Jesus Christ be your good shepherd. Beloved, sooner or later, all of life really does come down to an A or B kind of decision. I can testify to this because I've personally tried it both ways. You can continue to follow the lead of most of the rest of the world, continuing to listen to the hired hand who cares nothing for the sheep, or you can follow the lead of the good shepherd. Those are the choices, A or B. That first path might be the one that you're on right now. How's it working out for you? The hired hand cares nothing about you. You know that. When the wolf is at the door, you're on your own. That's why you find yourself worrying about what hasn't happened. Because it might happen. And if it does happen, then what am I going to do? What will become of me? How am I going to make it? The path that the hired hand has you on leads the wrong way. The destination of the hired hand's path is a compulsive response to life that is full of fear, devoid of joy. But if you decide to go in the other direction, if and when you finally let go and you let Jesus lead, you let him be the good shepherd that he is, when you follow that path, it is then that you discover a peace of mind that you never knew could be there. When you're on the right path, you no longer have to spend your hours awake in constant anxiety. When the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Now, I am not saying that you'll never again hear the raucous crowing of the rooster of worry. Oh no, worry is ingrained in the brain, and as long as we live and we breathe, at times we will be tempted to listen to it. If you can breathe, you can worry, and you will. What I'm saying is, the next time that worry starts, give it to God right away before one worry leads to another. In our second lesson, St. Paul talks about the peace of God that passes understanding. And St. Paul tells us how to get that peace. Did you see it? It's verse 6 of Philippians chapter 4. He says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. In every situation, instead of being anxious, present your requests to God. Let me give you a great way to do just that this morning. Some of us tried this a year ago in last year's Lenten series on the 23rd Psalm. You remember that? That's where the suggestion is coming from. The very next time that a worry starts up in your mind, present your request to God this way. Say this. Say to yourself, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Choir, help me out of this. Let's say it. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. That's what you say the next time that worry starts your way. The problem is we don't trust God. And we can make the decision that we will trust God. We can say, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. The governor has lifted the stay-at-home orders. If you get back into real life this week and somebody comes within your sacred 6-foot space, don't worry. Simply say, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Let's say you have a major decision to make. Instead of worrying, say this. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Maybe you're wondering if your business will survive the shutdown or if your job will be there when you return. Say this. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. If you feel the desire to worry about the meat supply or worry over a lack of toilet paper or whatever, you know what to say. Tell them, choir. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. The Good Shepherd will take care of me. The Good Shepherd will take care of you. I have a feeling that we'll be allowed to assemble here in the church building again very, very soon. When it happens, you might start to worry if it's going to be safe to worship in public. Don't let your mind go to worry. The words are, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. The Lord will keep me safe. Will you try it? Every time you start to worry, simply say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You're asking Jesus Christ to be your shepherd, to feed you, to lead you, to meet your needs. Do you think he can? When you say the Lord is my shepherd, you're saying he can. You're saying that he will. And you're not going to worry about it. I shall not want. Give it a try later today. Give it a try this coming week. I'm telling you, if you keep it up, the worries you had will get fewer and farther between, and the peace of God that passes all understanding will be your free gift in return. And you'll know that whatever it is that would have caused you anxiety can't. It can't because you've surrendered it to God's confident care. And so the worry that could have been isn't there anymore. But remember, there's no way to begin to enjoy this transformation in attitude until you begin a transformation in life. It takes a change in direction from here to here. It takes a change from what it is or who it is that leads us. I'm saying give the worry to the only one who can stop it. Jesus Christ is the Good Shepherd. He is now and will be forever all you need. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. And for God's Good Shepherd, we can all say, thanks be to God. In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.